You know, dogs can be more than just four-legged animals, even your best friend.
They can provide comfort and support. In fact, they can be
Superdogs
to the rescue.
And this is Chick to Chick.
Okay, no joke. I know we're saying it's Superdog to the rescue because it is pretty cute and we're kind of dating ourselves in Superdog. However, there is something about a dog. I'm a dog lover. We know your love of Tilly. And dogs just make us feel good. They kind of calm us down. They can be superheroes, and we already know this with police force, military, other places. And I think it is so amazing that so many more people in so many other industries are looking at dogs for comfort and support.
Yeah, we've heard of dogs going into nursing homes to help elderly people. We've heard dogs going in when children are in the hospital to help them heal. Well, this is a different way, another way that dogs are being used, and I didn't know anything about this.
I did not either.
They're actually going into the courtroom to help children who might be in a very difficult situation. And I love the fact that we do these podcasts and we just keep learning about different
things. The beauty
things.
of it.
Yeah. So this is a really cool program, which brings us to our guest today. Jeanette McGarrow is with the Cumberland County Bar Foundation. Hi, Jeanette. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Jeanette, we know you guys use service dogs and you bring them into the courtroom to help children. Can you tell us about that and talk to us about these dogs that you have?
Sure. So currently, Cumberland County Bar Foundation has a total of 2 dogs, and they're looking to get a third one. The first one is a Black Labrador called Diego. And then there is a second dog, Drachma. And the 2 dogs help out in the courtroom in a number of ways. You know, if a child is in there and in a situation where they're testifying and they're nervous or anxious, the dog is there to provide emotional support through petting and that sort of thing. And they're professionally trained to help. And they're looking to use the dogs in other scenarios within the Cumberland County Courthouse.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about that because we have such an opioid crisis and we know that so many people become repeat offenders, unfortunately, but we also know that they're still humans and they need to feel calm when they've got to go in front of a judge. So you're saying providing a service dog in that position can actually be very good for them.
Yeah. So in a lot of the scenarios where, there might be an offender in front of a judge, if they're able to provide treatment and rehabilitation, the court sometimes goes in that route. And, if you're a user and you're struggling with addiction, you might have to go in front of a judge and say, I used again this weekend. And that can be a hard thing to do. You're scared, maybe you're embarrassed, and, having a service dog there will be rather helpful.
Jeanette, what have you noticed? So you talk about kids maybe having to come into the courtroom. And I mean, if they have to testify maybe against a parent or maybe a family member, I mean, this is tough and this is stressful. What have you noticed how they change when the dog is there? And how does the dog help them through this very tough, tense, and I'm sure very difficult situation for these kids?
Well, I can tell you, as a mother of an autistic child that has a dog in the house that is very helpful, I can tell you what I see firsthand as a parent. And I see when, my son is anxious and stressed, he goes for the dog, he pets the dog, and you can just see that the dog soothes him. And it's really the best treatment for him.
And I'm sure it has the same impact when these kids are in the courtroom and have to testify. I'm sure it just calms them down. I mean, I know when I pet Tilly, I feel better. It gets rid of the stress in me. I'm sure it has that impact on these kids. If they're on the witness stand, how intimidating that must be for them.
Absolutely, especially at such a young age.
Is this what made you want to get involved with this? I'm just curious as to where this idea came from.
So this idea came from a few people on the committee. We have a committee that actually put together a fundraiser, and they fundraised for the first dog, Diego. That was a few years ago. They did such a knockout job that they were able to create annual events, and then they fundraised for the second dog, Drachma. And the dog really kind of serves as a mascot, so to speak, for the fundraising, because there are a number of programs that are funded through the Bar Foundation which include things like, when you asked me why I got involved, Carrie, as a female, the domestic violence issues, if you need a PFA, all that is free due to the fundraising and the good work that we do. Other things also, if you have a child that has been a juvenile in the system and, is trying to go on a good path, there are scholarships available for college. So there's just some wonderful things that as a woman and as a mother that I'm happy to stand behind.
How often do these dogs go into the courtroom with children? And do you know how many children you've been able to help through the years in these tough situations?
I wish I knew the answer to that. The dogs actually have somebody within the courtroom that they're assigned to, and I know they go home with the employees at night. So I know they are in there regularly. I don't know if it's daily, though.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and with the adults, it's a little bit different. A child really usually needs some sort of a security, but the fact that you're doing this with adults, my brother suffered from opioid addiction and lost his life eventually to it. And I know that one of the things that brought him a lot of solace was his dog. So from the standpoint of the folks that you're helping there, do they just meet the dog then when they get to the courtroom and they go in with the dog into the courtroom? Is that how that works with the adults?
I believe that the dog is already in the courtroom with an employee. As far as the introduction, how that works, I'm not quite sure. But, I can tell you again, as a parent of a child, special needs, I can tell you, and even personally, like you said, you calm the dog, you hug the dog, and it just, it's just warm and loving. It's such a intense feeling.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the touch and feeling that comfort and the love you get from a dog. So unconditional.
Absolutely.
Of course it makes you happy. So again, you talked about that you have 2 dogs.
You need a third one.
Yeah, 2 service dogs for the kids. You need a third one to work with an adult. We know you have a very important fundraiser coming up. Can you tell us all about that?
Sure. So the fundraiser that they have typically done was more of a Derby Day style event in the spring. And with COVID, that's kind of been put on pause. And now that we're able to have events again, the committee got together and they decided to do a tailgating event themed around football, themed around Penn State, right? So we're all looking forward to it. It's September 25th, and it will be at Pheasant Field Bed and Breakfast. It's kind of right on the borderline between Carlisle and Mechanicsburg, and they're selling hundreds of tickets to it. And it's an all-you-care-to-drink tailgating event. So think beer garden and think barbecue. Stampede Barbecue is going to be there. There's going to be live music. They're going to be broadcasting the Penn State game. There's going to be silent auction, games, just a lot of fun.
So where can you get, how much are tickets, and where can you get the tickets and more information about this event?
Tickets are $75, and you can go online at cumberlandbarfoundation.org.
This is such a great idea, and I'm certain, I just feel it, there's going to be another dog. Another dog to the pack is coming. I love this idea. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Thank you for having me.
What a great idea. So you get to go to this tailgate party.
Watch Penn State beat
You're
Villanova.
raising money. You're going to watch Penn State beat Villanova. It's just like a win-win all over the place, isn't it?
It is. And I love that we reach farther into our community to make people feel comfortable during a time that is really difficult for them. We love that you connect with us, and we hope that we will catch you the next time you are tuning in for us to chirp about another topic.